finishing touch there. A little finishing touch here. Oh, hello there. As you can see, I have a 3D printer behind me, and I was just coming up with an idea for something to print. You can see the X, Y, and Z coordinates here. I think this is going to come out quite nicely. I'm going to play with that later tonight. This is your friendly neighborhood Techpool. Unlike Deadpool, I come from Earth 69, and I work in tech. You know what that means, don't you? The big difference between Deadpool and I is that I don't know what a vagina looks like. I'm just kidding. I've seen one from afar after a hefty down payment. Hey, Techpool. Hey, Deadpool. Did you see my new movie with Wolverine? Yeah, I did. Did you get the part about the anchor being in the timeline? Yep. Are you the anchor being in your timeline? I might be. For what purpose? Take a nice big pile of shit all over the tech industry. And you, yes, you, the viewer, who sits there watching all these tech streamers just waiting to guzzle down all that electronic digital jizz as it spreads from the tech streamer all the way down into your face. Let's not forget about developers who love to defend their developer experience. Let me tell you something about developer experience. It's like a high-end escort service. Ah, good memories. I miss you, Marie. If you're out there, I hope you're doing well. And I don't like the fact that I had to go get checked after that last time with that thing we did. You should have just been straightforward with me. I would have just done more with you. The issue is that developer experience isn't really a high-end escort service. At the end of the day, all it's doing is the same thing as a cheap, ugly $2 Friday night hooker. This one's for you, Jessica. Programmers these days, so pampered. You guys just don't know what the fuck you're missing. You're like trust fund babies. You've never had to work a day in your life. Oh, my code isn't compiling. I need a safe space. Gag me. Meanwhile, actual coders like myself are coding with one hand and giving ourselves hand jobs with another. Oh, and motherfucking React. It's like anal cancer. Everyone's got a take. It's everywhere. People keep telling you to use lube. But who the fuck are we kidding? It's gonna spread everywhere anyways. I don't know if you guys have Rust on your Earth, but man, that was like a bad one-night stand. Good foreplay, but fuck if I couldn't finish it. You might be wondering, why is Techpool wearing an Iron Man hat? It's because I respect Iron Man. He coded his way out of a cave, whereas you couldn't code your way out of a paper bag if all the libraries and dependencies were thrust upon your lap like a gold-digging whore from Hooters. You know, I really love the fact that developers have decided that AI is going to answer all their technical questions. It used to be Stack Overflow. The difference between AI and Stack Overflow, at least you could tell that you were getting human-level shit for answers. Oh, and you managers are not exempt either. No, Techpool has you in his sights. You fucked me in the urethra more times than I can count, and I've done it myself plenty of times. As a matter of fact, I'll be right back. Listen, guys, I'm going to tell you a story that's deep and personal. I haven't really told many people this, just 20 or 30. One night, after writing a bunch of code using React server components, I walked away, I looked at my hands, well, the one that wasn't busy, and I said, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And then I took a walk around the block, and this really grungy, dirty girl came up to me and said, hey, for 20 cents, I'll show you a good time. Just before I started, this weird laser horse dude guy came up. And you know, it's Marvel. These things happen. There's weird people all the time. But he said, stop. There's a better way. And then he left me this card with said HTMX on it. I don't know. I think he saved my life that night. But not the next night, because then I went right back to her. You know how sometimes people like to think about what would have happened if Germany had won the war, and maybe we'd all be speaking German now? I wonder what the tech equivalent of that would be. Oh, fuck. We'd all be doing Visual Basic. Boys, you'll know what I'm talking about. That time when you were young and the hormones were raging and you just needed something fucking warm and ready to go and of age. And as long as it moved, you were there. We kind of went through that with JavaScript frameworks, didn't we? Hey, Techpool. Hey, Deadpool. What's up? Do you remember that one time in college when I accidentally moved over from my universe to yours and we got really drunk and then we had that weird but really hot, steamy night together? I sure do, Deadpool. What about it? That's what using Magento feels like. Crypto. Probably the most effective scam ever to be run on the entire face of the multiverse. It's like a sleazy guy at a bar who promises you this, and as the night wears on, Frank, here's looking at you, kid. Oh, cybersecurity is a shit show. We write the most terrible fucking code, and then we get in a room full of horny young men. One of them's bound to get through. It doesn't matter how many firewalls you have. And then they take your data and your dignity. And then they steal your identity. Man, college was not fun. Was the AI hype as motherfucking annoying on Earth 69 as it was on yours? It's like watching adult film videographers attempt to enter into the world of the serious acting of drama. It won't work. You're better at taking dicks, and frankly, I enjoy myself more when I jerk off to it. You know, I had a short stint with the X-Men. I met Storm. She was cool. But she reminded me a bit of GraphQL, because every time I use GraphQL, it's always stormy with a chance of pain in my ass. During my short stint with the X-Men, I also met Beast, but I felt like maybe he was overcompensating for something. It reminds me of developers who, instead of writing a simple function for Hello World, decide, why not use a bunch of fucking libraries? During my short time with the X-Men, I also met Magneto. Man, that guy was fucking wild. You know what else reminds me of Magneto? NPM repositories, because programmers can't seem to help themselves to Magneto their way to downloading the entire fucking internet, including apparently the recipe for monkeypox. Who would have thought that, WHO? There's only one exception to people I won't harm. Programmers who use Zig. For all I fucking care, I could catch you bashing baby seals to death, and I would just give you a nice warm hug, fellow Zigma. You know, sometimes I catch myself reminiscing about Macy, my blow-up doll. Hi, Macy. When you can't get the real deal, it's not quite the same, but she'll do. It's kind of like Go programming. One time I was at a really wild party. I guess somebody slipped something into my drink, which, hey, all you have to do is ask. But it's neither here nor there. I woke up the next morning, my ass hurt like a bitch. I knew what happened. That's what Angular v3 did to Angular v2. Beep, boop, 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 beep. Hello, I'm Techpool, and I'm programming right now. I'm just kidding with you. I've trained like 7,000 AI agents to scour Stack Overflow and build everything I need for me and then call myself a top hotshot professional programmer. Get fucked. Listen up, all you functional programming bros. Look, I just don't get it, alright? It's like you're trying to have sex with your clothes on. Sure, you can do it, but you're missing out on all the fun parts. You're all about immutability, but I'm about mutability, especially when it comes to my body count. Shit. Pure functions? They're like virgins at a party. They don't touch anything. They don't get touched. They're predictable as hell. Meanwhile, I'm over here, impure as they come and loving every minute of it. And recursion and functional programming? Who the fuck do you think you are? Doctor Strange going over the same timeline every 10 fucking million times, thinking that there's going to be that little sliver of 1% chance that things are going to turn out? And what fucking happened? He died! And so did Marvel. You know what's more confusing than my healing abilities? React's life cycle methods. I mean, it's like they're in a relationship. Nobody knows who's humping who. Talk about messier than me, Cable, and Domino. And React state management. An orgy where everybody's touching something, but nobody knows what. Folks, have you ever tried to get your freak on with Colossus? By the time you get to the action, you're just so tired. That's what React's performance is like. I really hate ecosystems that push for downloading a whole bunch of libraries that you don't even know what they're doing. I mean, you have all these people at a sex party and half of them are just there to watch. Get involved, guys! Listen up, programmers. Do you actually think that faster CPUs are going to fix code that's buggier than my love life? Look, there's no amount of CPU upgrades that's going to fix something shittier than my moral compass. Yeah, the latest hardware is going to cover up the fact that you cut some corners writing stupid, inefficient, shitty-ass code. Look, I can say my healing factor will cover up the fact that I can't cook for shit, but that doesn't mean that I'm still not eating burnt chimichangas. And another thing about hardware covering for your shitty-ass code. Look, you can try and get hardware to cover for bad code all you like, but all it's doing is relying on charm to cover over bad hygiene. Don't ask me how I know that. And at some point, people pick up on your bad breath and say, Techpool, why don't you brush your fucking teeth? And I'm like, hey, I'm over here trying to write really good code. And they're like, but Techpool, the least thing you could do is brush your fucking teeth. And I'm like, listen, fuckface, I'm going to do whatever I got. I think I've gone off topic here. Maybe I should move on to something else. Listen here, little script kiddies. After visiting your mom's house nightly, the only thing that crashes more often than your mom's diet plans is your shitty-ass software code that you try and hide behind good hardware. Have you guys heard of Unreal Engine's new inclusive guidelines where you can't use words like whitelist and blacklist in your code? Fucking hell, Unreal Engine. If that actually worked, all I'd have to do is put up a nice big sign in my city saying, no bad guys, please, and my job would be done, and then I could hop over to Earth 3542 and just have a grand old time with Thor and maybe Hulk. If I could figure out how to slip something into his gamma radiation. I want to slip something into him, you know what I mean? I really love tech streamers who think they're hot shit, like Iron Man or something, but in reality, they're like Spider-Man in Endgame, when Spider-Man was up all like cool and stuff up until that point, and then he's like, oh, boo-hoo, Iron Man, I'm gonna waste and wither away, and then they just disintegrate into nothing because he was nothing. For all you test-driven developers who write tests more than you code, stop talking about sex and actually go have some.